What's up, guys? My name is Amanda Joy Anderson, and this is The Observer and the Oracle. Welcome to my channel. How are you doing? This evening, I wanted to talk about mending the bond between mother and child. In Cancer season, I had a dream where Spirit came to me and was showing me this situation where children are not being heard and they do not feel seen. And in today's society, this makes complete sense. Not only with the masks, unfortunately, but with parents being on cell phones, parents being too busy to listen to their children and nourish their children. And instead of nourishing their children, they allow tools and devices to nourish their children. And there's a big problem with this, because as a mother, it's our role to nourish our children and to teach our children and to protect our children. And our children are looking for this nourishment, only they are finding it outside of their mothers. They are finding it in the internet. They are finding it in TV shows. They are finding it in other people. They are looking for someone to play this role in their life, and that's our job. And generationally, there is a huge wound between mother and child since the beginning of time. We can look back to when, like, Pride and Prejudice days, when mothers were basically selling their children off for property or a good name or to have more money in the household. Then we look at, between like 1920s, 1950s, where there was a ton of abuse going on in the homes, and because of societal reasons, the mothers did not stand up for their children because that would be looked down upon as being an improper wife. And that still plays out till today. There are many women that are still in these abusive relationships that are not standing up for themselves and not standing up for their children and walking away from these relationships. And I understand why they are there and why they stay, but it's so important because our children are the next generation. But as mothers, we have to be the example of what type of love is accepted into our lives. So that way our children know that this is the type of love that I can accept into my life. Because if we don't do that, if we don't create those personal boundaries and be the examples, they're subjugated to the same painful experiences that we have experienced, that our parents have experienced, that their parents have experienced. And it's so important that in this aspect we get our shit together. Like, really. And I know being a mother is an extremely hard job. It is so, so hard. Mentally, emotionally, and then at the end of the day, you're like, did I do the right thing? I know. And it's not easy, and it's not easy being a single mother, because that load that's a heavy load. But these are the aspects that we need to start teaching our children, because we have to be the examples of what nourishment they allow in their life. If we don't do this, they will repeat the same cycles as we repeat. And at some point, mothers need to stand up and say, enough is enough is enough. And start being the examples of how we are supposed to be treated, of how our children are supposed to be treated. Especially with this generation, because they are not seen and they are not heard. So they need an example of how to be seen and how to be heard. Okay, so I love you guys and have a beautiful evening. Bye.